And what should we be watching out for over the coming days? Is it political fallout? Is it some policy response? Could there be escalation?
Well, unfortunately, again, both is a possibility. I think we are seeing the policy response in Washington. The funding for the Department of Homeland Security has partially been held up by Democrats in the Senate, seeking to put more controls over immigration and customs enforcement. That's leading to a very brief government shutdown right now. But I think over the next 2 weeks, we'll see how serious the administration is in its willingness to negotiate to come up with appropriate controls on ICE in this new immigration role that it's playing. I think the risk, of course, is that there will be another horrible situation, as we've seen twice already in Minneapolis, where someone who's involved in monitoring ICE is killed by ICE. And were that to happen, particularly if it follows the sort of model of the last two cases, I think we'll see even more public outrage at the administration and at ICE.
Do you think you have a feeling for how much public opinion on ICE has shifted in the wake of those two incidents?
No, I mean, I haven't seen polling specifically about those two incidents, but I think we've seen these nationwide protests, which are small in number so far, but they're much broader in inclusion than they were, a month or two ago. So I think we're seeing more and more people becoming aware of the situation. If they know one thing about immigration enforcement, it's about the killing of Renee Good, for example, and that is motivating people. Initially to get involved in some of these protests, but probably more importantly down the road to think about how that's going to affect their vote in the 2026 midterms in November. And there is an opportunity for those who seek more moderate immigration enforcement to vote for Democrats and to give Democrats control of at least one house of Congress. Were that to happen, that would severely restrict the ability of ICE to run roughshod over American cities as they have been for the last few months.
And what are you seeing in terms of tensions between federal immigration enforcement and local governments?
Well, I think each side is using the powers that it has. Local governments, going back to the Bush administration, have chosen not to cooperate with the federal government in certain kinds of immigration enforcement, leaving to the federal government immigration enforcement. So you've seen local governments saying, we're not going to help in this process. Certainly, in the first year of the second Trump administration, we've seen the massive expansion of ICE, the hiring of all kinds of new people, probably without a lot of training at this stage, to occupy, that might be too strong a word, but to fill certain American cities, Washington, Los Angeles, now Minneapolis, and to alienate local communities while going after daily quotas of undocumented immigrants. So each side has gone to the extremes rather than to look for compromise that would allow ICE to do what the American people would like, which is to deport undocumented immigrants who have outstanding orders of deportation and have committed crimes. That's a small number. That's not the millions that President Trump has promised, but it is the group, the subset of undocumented immigrants that the American people think ICE should be focusing its energies on.
Yeah, compromise, the holy grail. Thank you so much for your insights, Professor Luis Desipio from UC Irvine.